White liberals have a savior complex.
I have no shame about it. I have a savior complex as an older brother, and I will save you whether you like it or not. Okay, but you don't really care about homeless veterans, right?
That's just
you don't support
idea.
You don't know
I
me.
feel like all your arguments are ad hominem.
But you're
literally
here as a
every
conservative.
single one ad
You're here as a
hominem.
conservative. Oh no, I triggered them all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm chilling, buddy.
Yes,
So
you
what I
are.
hope comes out.
Disagree with me, they're
prosecutor was
racist.
doing
On the latest episode of Middle Ground, they had white liberals debating black conservatives, and this video includes the most insufferable leftist in the entire world. His name is Alec, and he's entitled, a narcissist, and a little racist. Alec grew up in a conservative household, and he fully admits that he was brainwashed during COVID lockdowns by his sister into leftist ideologies. Let me show you who we're dealing with.
A lot of people, people, of the left, whatever, can kind of fall into that trap of thinking that, black people as a monolith need to be saved as a whole.
I have no shame about it. I have a savior complex as an older brother, and I will save you whether you like it or not. So that's just me.
So if you take pride in having like a white savior complex, what is it that you think that you're doing to save black people, and what is it that you think that you're saving black people from?
I am trying to make the world a better place through whatever means I can, and
But you're doing it on the backs of us.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah, I actually do. I feel like you want to be a savior and you're using me to make yourself feel good. That's what I'm hearing.
How am I hurting you?
You're not letting me have my own voice. You're not letting me speak.
How? You're speaking now?
No,
You're cutting her off.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I have to.
Yeah, you took it back to riots and so forth, and it makes it seem like the only way that we as black people can have a voice is by riots, and then you need to come along and you need to say, okay, poor little black child, let me help you. That's offensive to me. And I feel like you're making yourself feel good about trying to help us.
I gotta hand it to him. At least he admits that he's a white savior, and he fully believes that black people are incapable of having personal responsibility. He thinks that white people have been holding black people down, and it's only us that can help black people. They can't help themselves, only we can. And he doesn't do it for the good of black people, he does it to make himself feel good, to feel superior, like he's solving the world's problems.
I agree with the Supreme Court's decision to end affirmative action.
We know what to do now. We don't need affirmative action anymore. And to me, affirmative action is offensive sometimes, especially nowadays, because I have 6 children and 2 boys, 4 girls. And all of them went to Harvard and Columbia and this one and that one. And it breaks my heart to think that they accomplished that goal of getting into these institutions just because of the color of their skin.
I can definitely say that it creates a lot of tension when you have affirmative action. I remember my first week at the University of Illinois, I was sitting with some classmates, and a white student turned to me and jokingly like, hey Xavier, did you just attach a smiley face when you applied for this college? And I started asking what he meant, and he said to me that he was like, you're black, I'm assuming you had decent grades, you could have just attached a smiley face and you would have gotten into the university. So I was livid by that, and I went off, I started naming all of my accomplishments, and I felt so confident only for about an hour, because then an hour later I started saying to myself wow, did I actually earn my way in here? I started to have this insecurity, and I started wondering to myself, did I earn this position myself, or did my ancestors' suffering earn this for me?
So, if affirmative action accomplished its purpose, why do we still see the disparities that we do in the professional workplace? If you average white wealth and compare it to black wealth totals, white people as a whole have about 50 times greater wealth than black people as a whole per capita. So I just don't understand why you think affirmative action has accomplished its purpose. I don't see
Curious, why do you assume that just because there is a disparity means it's because of a racial issue?
What else would it be from?
I mean,
upbringing, economic abilities,
Desire to
skills.
go, desire to...
I mean,
So
zip
it
code
was their
does
fault
play a
then.
lot. If you grow up in a neighborhood that experiences a lot of trauma, you're not as likely to do as well in school, which means you're...
Why did they grow up in a neighborhood that experiences a lot of trauma?
I mean, lots of people do.
Yes,
live in
but
a-
why specifically do more black people?
A 2-parent household in comparison to a 1-parent household, that child is not going to be nearly as successful. That child is more disposed to being sent into prison by doing crimes or not doing very well in school. So how are they even supposed to get that, that wealth disparity shrunk if they aren't even able to get out of the community that is causing these problems for them?
Exactly. Instead of promoting the importance of the nuclear family and having 2 parents in the household, the left would rather force minorities into jobs and universities that they aren't qualified for and that they aren't prepared for, just to take away an opportunity from someone who was deserving but doesn't have the right skin color. It's a disgusting policy and it needed to be removed. Judging people by their skin color should have been left during the segregation times.
Reparations are necessary.
When we talk about reparations, I think that doing reparations in the way that a lot of people think of it, where we just give it to black people, I'm not an expert on this, but I think it would be more income-based, and that in itself, like I said earlier, would disproportionately benefit black people, because if you recognize that they are disproportionately affected by a systemic injustice, then doing it on like a class level would uplift proportionally more black people than white people.
I have no problems with reparations if they had happened initially during the slavery or the civil rights movement or any of that. But to try and do that now logistically just doesn't really make any sense. And where would this money come from? We're in so much debt as a nation. Would I get this money? I'm biracial or triracial. Do mixed people get it? And do Irish people get reparations when they were indentured servants?
I think that if we impose reparations now, I think it would rip America apart. I think that we're already separated enough as it is, and now you're going to have people walking around going, "You owe me money. You owe me money. I'm not paying you any money." It would just really rip us apart.
Giving somebody money doesn't mean anything if they don't know what to do with the money or how to handle the money.
Giving money to a group of people does not hurt them.
I mean,
It
sure,
can't.
if you're talking about a lottery,
It
just, hey,
literally
take
can't.
money. But
Yes.
there are strings
Take money.
attached to that money.
Take all the
there
money.
are strings attached
Give
to that
them
money.
millions. Make them all millionaires. I don't care. Giving money to black people does not hurt them.
In his opening speech, Alec wasn't arguing for reparations at all. He said it should be income-based, and if they're poor, we should give them money. Meaning anyone, black or white, that finds themselves poor at any given point in time should be handed money. So what's the incentive to work hard? What's the incentive to pay your taxes? What's the incentive to be a contributing member of society? The whole point an economy exists is so people are providing a good or service to other people. He's incentivizing being lazy and having the government give you stimulus checks. He just wants socialism, and he's disguising it as reparations because according to him, most black people are poor. It's painfully obvious that he got all of his political beliefs from COVID lockdowns. He wants the government to do everything for him. He doesn't want to do anything. Can you believe people like him actually have a vote in this country? It's no wonder why people like Joe Biden get elected.
I just got one thing I wanted to bring up earlier about taxes, because you were saying that you had your job and you were talking about how you get the tax every time and you're seeing your tax go up. I worked in nursing homes in 2020 COVID. The last thing that was on my mind when I watched 60 and 70-year-olds on their deathbeds suffocating to death was taxes. I was worried about health care. I didn't give a shit about taxes in that time. So when I go to work every day, that's what I see. That's what I want to fix.
I see you once again elevating yourself above the rest of us, and particularly at me, a white man elevating himself above a black person.
He
called me a bootlicker.
Sorry.
He called me a bootlicker.
Oh no, I triggered them all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm chilling, buddy.
Yes,
So what
you
I
are.
hope comes out of this
chilling.
conversation is that we're all Americans, and because we're all Americans, we know that America has a bunch of problems, and I think every person here wants to solve the problems, and I think everybody is bringing what they have to the table with their ideas on how to get us to unify. This kind of stuff, right? But you got something in there. Hopefully, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you have something in there that's redeeming about you that would bring all of Americans together. So I hope that we end on the note of American.
We should treat each other as fellow image bearers, not just by the color of our skin. I mean, as Martin Luther King said.
He also did not like capitalism.
So there you have it. Clearly he's entitled, he's a narcissist, he has no respect for conservative beliefs despite growing up in a conservative household. I bet he hates his parents, I bet he doesn't have many friends because he's unwilling to compromise, and if anyone disagrees with him, he'd rather silence them than try to debate them. But that's all I have for this video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Alec, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more content just like this, and I will see you in the next upload.
I kind of leveled out, thankfully, and I'm less cringe now.
Did you? Are you?
I cringed.
This is leveled out. Imagine if we would have been here a year ago.
You can, I mean, maybe I am being cringe. Who cares?